What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on? It is your boy, Niner Sickness, accompanied with my boy, who needs no introduction himself, Florida Mike, ready to talk some football, ready to get some reactions of the 49ers Buffalo Bills game. I just want to welcome all the viewers. I want to welcome everybody to our show tonight. Everybody, welcome to the Niner Sickness podcast Tuesday night edition. What's up, Mr. Florida Mike?
What's happening, my brother? How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. Get ready to talk some football. I mean, our team didn't do so well yesterday. I wish we had better results. I wish we had a better outcome. But as faithful as we are, we're still going to talk about what happened. We're going to talk about the good and the bad and the ugly and what needs to be done going forward, brother.
Let's get it, man. Let's do it. Pro star, my Germans out there. Big shout out to my Cameroon people. Also, much love to all my Florida family and all the Niner fans worldwide.
Right on. Right, Lucky, Bond, Victor, Felix, how you doing? Jose Garcia, welcome. Tanisha, how you doing, girl? Russell, George, welcome. Antonio, welcome. I love that Mexican flag. Tom, how you doing, sir? Welcome to the show. Everybody's starting to pop in. Remember to share this podcast. We would appreciate it. Well, it wasn't the outcome that we wanted, but nevertheless, we had a game yesterday, and it was pretty ugly. I mean, there's no ways about it. It was pretty ugly. Defensively, our secondary just seemed like they didn't show up. And our offense just wasn't there. Nick Mullins continued to be Nick Mullins. What you want to break down from yesterday's game there, Mike?
Well, I mean, I don't have the expectations that a lot of, Niner fans might have as far as going out here winning. I mean, competing is my expectation at best. I understand our situation with injuries. So while some might be out there and say, hey, there's no excuse, you next man up. Look, man, I don't care who you are. If you have injuries in key positions and key players and like impact players, it's going to affect your team. There's a reason why they're called starters. There's a reason why the starters are supposed to be the best players on the field playing majority of the game. So, when you're missing a Nick Bosa, a D Ford, that edge pressure that we normally are expected to have would do tremendous wonders for our defense. So that way the secondary has a lot of time. When the guy has 5 to 7 seconds to throw, damn near every time they ain't punt until like the fourth quarter. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's the kind of outcome you're going to have with a guy that can hurt you with his legs. And as we know, we don't really seem to fare too well against mobile quarterbacks.
That is correct. And even though Josh Allen is not really that mobile, but he was mobile enough to do some damage. That receiver, that middle receiver they got from the Cowboys, Beasley or Bosley, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
That kid was killing us, man. He was definitely our kryptonite yesterday. We had no answer for him. No answer for him. He was just the Buffalo Bills had their way. They had the better game plan. They executed better, and at the end of the day, they got out of there with a W. Niners, I don't want to take no discredit from the Bills. They came out to play. Josh Allen was on cue. The receivers played. Stephon Diggs did all right. The running game did good. And their defense, I know they got a linebacker back from injury, and he stepped in right away and made a dividend in that game. And they were just a better team. And they put pressure on Nick Mullins, and we all know that when you put pressure on Nick Mullins, the outcome to that pressure is not good. He makes mistakes, and he made his share of mistakes yesterday, and the whole team did. Personally, myself, I think Mike McGlinchey is continued to digress and it's getting worse. And I don't know, man. What's your thoughts personally on Mike McGlinchey?
I mean, I don't really look at him as an individual and say, okay, well, he's doing this, he's doing that. I mean, Sure, he's had some struggles, but I also understand, man, he don't have his starting quarterback back there, which makes a ton of difference. I also understand that we're missing some pieces on the O line, like at center and other areas around that line. So when we're not full strength, like I said a moment ago, yeah, guys got to step up. But hey, man, it's a lot to ask. It's a tall order. So let's just finish this season out and understand we are what we are with all these injuries. This is who we are right now. We're a team that can beat the Rams 1 week and a team that can lose to the Bills. Until we get all these pieces back healthy, which I don't know if that's going to happen. Obviously, Ghost is out and stuff for the year, but until we get majority of our players back, man, I'm not going to sit here and have different expectations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For what I heard, I don't know how true this is, but I read that George Kittle and Jimmy Garoppolo actually practiced today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't put much stock into that. I mean, they're working out. That's what guys who are injured that are slowly recovering are doing. But they're not going to play. So good for them working out. It's glad to see them back out there getting a win back and some reps before they get back on the field. We have 4 games left. So
yes,
if Mullins can find a way to beat the Washington football team and that little team in Texas, we might have a shot at making the playoffs if we can win out the next 4 games.
But yeah, that game against Washington is definitely going to be interesting to watch. Alex Smith and company really gave the Pittsburgh Steelers a pretty good game and gave them their first loss of the season. So I didn't really watch the game, so I don't know if that was a lot of the Washington playing very well, or the Steelers just not really considering and taking that team seriously, and they shot themselves in the foot. I have to watch the game, but they gave them the first loss. So that game on, I guess, the Washington football team, it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to tell you what's funny, bro, about sports. So after the Bills lost, a lot of Niner fans are probably feeling like, man, draft, quarterback. What are we going to get? And we need to get rid of this. We need to keep this. What's funny is if we win the next 4 games against the wild card and end up back in the Super Bowl, everybody's going to have a different tune, man. It's just funny. You know what I'm saying? And let's be honest, bro. Nobody's incapable of winning the NFC. It's not like it's on the other side over there, the Chiefs, they seem more like a team that might be poised to go back. Although I believe they can get beat this year, that they seem like a team that has a step on most of their conference. NFC is wide open. I don't think there's one clear-cut team. So with the Niners being a potential wild card, and we've been playing with our backups majority of the season, listen to how that sounds. If we can win the next 4 games, we're getting Garoppolo and Kittle back out here the last 2 weeks against our division. So we can beat the football team and that little team in Dallas. I said their name. The little team in Texas, right? if we can beat them with Mullins and company, and we finish out the division with Garoppolo and Kittle, you're talking about a potential playoff as a wild card. We could be 10-6. Okay.
Yeah.
At that point, there's nothing stopping us.
We're 5-7 now.
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll be 9-7.
Yeah, 9-7.
I'm sorry, 9-7. So there's nothing, stopping us from getting in that wild card. We control our destiny at this point. So, like I said, things can turn. It can go from draft talk tonight to potential Super Bowl in the next 4 weeks, in the next month. And I'm serious. And mark my words, if we get in that wild card, we're going to be a team that I don't think people want to play in the first round if we get majority of our players back healthy.
Yep. Let's see here. Trying to keep comments going as well. Yeah. We still have 4 games left. A lot of things are going to take place, shape up. We got to take 1 week at a time. We lost this game. against the Buffalo Bills, but we do have two more games against teams that are not in our division, and then we're going to end up finishing the game with the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Uh, can we make the playoffs? Yes. Is it a long shot? Yes. At this point, we can't afford to lose any more games. We lose, excuse me, we lose one more game, we're pretty much out of the race. But we're going to see what we're made of. We're going to see what we're made of, and we're going to see what Kyle Shanahan can dial up for the Washington football team. And hopefully we can give them a great game. The Buffalo Bills just outplayed us, man. They outplayed us. We're going to watch tape on that game and correct the mistakes that we made. And hopefully we can capitalize on those mistakes and not make them. And our secondary needs to get better because Jason Verrett and Richard Sherman pretty much were getting toasted throughout the game, man. So hopefully they can step up and play better against the Washington football team.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of fans, man, at this point, it's understandable as fans, because fans are emotional, right? Most fans are. They're not going to process things from a long-term perspective. They're going to look at today and to right now. You don't want to see Niner fans go wake up and then they got to go to the jobs or they got to go to the barbershop or the basketball court, wherever they go on, and then they got to be the laughing stock. So as a Niner fan, you be feeling like, damn, I hate hearing this week in, week out. And I know we're better when we're healthy, but I got to deal with this. Like I said, the beauty of it is we don't have to be the best team during the season. We just have to be one of the best 7 teams. That is it. That's the reality of it. So our goal should be thinking next 4 games, can we win out? Simple as that. If we get halfway there, we got to beat the Cardinals and the other team in Washington, right?
Yep.
So we can definitely win those 2. I mean, that other team in Washington just lost to the Giants, whom we beat. And I know it's a matchup, division rivalry. They play us a lot different, but look, man, they're not unbeatable. They ain't undefeated. San Francisco just got to beat them. It's just simple. Execute and outplay them that day. That's it. So we gotta deal with the Washington football team first and foremost, though, before we start looking ahead. So let's beat them and win these next 2 games so we can get Garoppolo back.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan says, is Jimmy Garoppolo coming back? Right now, we heard he's practicing, but right now we're still rocking with Nick Mullins. Honestly, I don't see Garoppolo and Kittle coming back. If they come back, will be towards the Cardinals game and maybe the Seattle game. I don't see them coming back before then. So we're gonna have to rock with Mullins against the Washington team and against that team over there in Dallas. That I won't mention the name either, not even worth mentioning. But out of those 2 teams, I'm a little bit more concerned of the pass rush of the Washington football team. That guy with that kid Young that they drafted is really doing good. They have a really good front 4. They can definitely put the pass rush on the quarterback, and we all know Nick Mullins. You get pressure on him, and he just falls apart. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can do to move the ball and get the ball out of his hands quickly, and on the player's hands. Because if Mullins has to, go back and try to pass the ball, it's going to be a long day for us. That pass rush of the Washington football team is ferocious. And they will be coming. So it's going to be interesting to see what Kyle Shanahan plans up and how he's going to utilize Mullins in that game.
And Niner faithful, let me speak to you guys for a quick second. Okay, I understand that we're having a losing season thus far, but despite how disappointing this year has been due to injuries primarily, okay, when you got these idiotic trolls talking about the Niners were 13-3 and there was a fluke last year and with this and that, and they don't watch our games, they don't see what we've been through. A lot of them don't even know we hurt. Like I saw some Buffalo fans didn't even know Garoppolo was out, that they must don't play fantasy football, or they might not be aware of what's going on in the league. They just watch their team or their division. And when they came in, it's like, oh, I didn't know he was out for that long, like 6 weeks. They thought maybe he was hurt just last week. So when teams play us, they're starting to see like this same Niners team from the Super Bowl is not the same team they're seeing this year. So all I got to say to my Niner faithful, do you want to know how Florida Mike handles haters, Niner haters? It's simple as this. What do we play for the game for? Super Bowls, right? The first thing all of our critics going to say about the Niners is you live in the past. You bring up 5 Super Bowls. What have you done lately? So my response to that is that's easy. We have not won since 1994 and still have more Super Bowls than 90% of the league. So what does that say about you? 90% of the teams can't talk Super Bowls with us. It's only the Steelers, the little team from Dallas, Texas, and that other team that Boston Hater hates. Those are the 3 teams that is on par with us with rings. Outside of them, everybody else can't say much. It's only 2 teams that got more rings than us. Let that sink in. So there's nothing when you have 5 championships, I don't need to talk to anybody else. Nothing to talk about. So we got 5 Super Bowls, and those accolades will never disappear. I don't give a damn if they gone if that was 100 years ago. We still have 5. We still have more than 90% of the league. So at the end of the day, we got to focus on us and what we're trying to do to get our 6th Lombardi and be tied. We're 1 Super Bowl away from being tied first place as the most rings in the league. Everybody else got to catch up. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, and we had a question real quick to answer Tanisha's question. Actually, Tanisha, the Niners have 4 games left. They're going to be playing 2 more games in Arizona, 1 as a home team and 1 as an away team. So we play the Washington football team as a home team in Arizona. Then we fly to Dallas and we play Dallas in Dallas. And then we come back to Arizona to play the Cardinals as a visiting team. Then we finish the season in Seattle. So to answer your question, we only play 2 more games in Arizona, 1 as a home game and 1 as a visitor. And then we had a question from, I just want to make sure I get these the viewers involved.
People over here, the viewers.
Ismael Ortiz says, what's up with DJ Jones? He was questionable yesterday when he got hurt. He did not return. He has a high ankle injury, so they're still looking into that. I haven't heard Kyle Shanahan say anything about that, but Kevin Givens has been stepping up. He's been playing. That dude has been dogging. He's been doing good. He's been stepping in Streets. Canaria Streets has been stepping up as well. So I actually like Kevin Givens, the way he's been playing better than DJ Jones. So not that I want DJ Jones and that he's hurt. Prayers go out to him. He hope he gets better soon. But I'd rather keep Givens in the lineup over DJ because he's been outperforming him. So I just wanted to answer those questions for the viewers.
Yeah, and I think that play Street had, man, was so disappointing on that 3rd and long. Like we had them stop, and I think he got some type of penalty. I can't remember what it was, but it gave them an opportunity to score, and we had him 3rd and like 18 or something like that. And I'm not gonna pick out one play over the duration of a game, but those are types of executions right there. Despite if we're shorthanded, especially, you can't make in those situations. You gotta execute, man, at critical times. So things like that. And it wasn't just him. I mean, there was a slew of plays. Like when we got to the 1 yard line on the first drive, and we didn't score. Luckily, they fumbled the ball, but those are things we got to punch in. We got to punch in. You know what I mean? We got another crack at it. But had they not fumbled in that situation, who knows, man? So,
yeah, absolutely, man. So, yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Unfortunately, sometimes you have good games, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes, no, just kidding. But you know, our secondary did not really show up. Our linebackers did. I love the way Fred Warner stepped up. Drake Greenlaw continued to play well. Um, and but I seen a corner that I'm not going to mention his name, wearing number 27, getting burnt left and right. I don't know why Robert Saleh had him out there. What was the purpose of having number 27 out there? I'm going to ask you there, Florida Mike, what in the hell was number 27 doing out in the field, bro?
The fact that you're not even saying the name and the number you referred to his number's funny. I mean, like I said, man, that's the results of not having a pass rush. When you're missing D Ford and Bosa, we're seeing the effects out there. So, it's challenging, man. When it's your linebackers got to fill these gaps, your secondary has to stay. They were going man to man, and then they did a little zone, and nothing worked. And that's the disadvantage of not having a pass rush. Our defense, we built the defense around that pass rush, and we haven't had D Ford pretty much all year. And Bosa got hurt very early, so you take your two best pass rushers away, man. That's, hate to say it, but that's it takes a lot out of your defense, man. Quarterbacks have a lot more time to mess around back there and make plays, extend plays, and do more damage than what they should be doing with the great pass rush. And for the record, I want to go back because I saw a few comments about what about the teams that have more Super Bowls than us? What do we say to them? Again, Florida Mike always going to answer for critics. It don't matter. So, yeah, you got more than us. So from a Super Bowl perspective, we can't say much to you. But we can say how you want them. You look at that team in Massachusetts, you played in the easiest division for the last 20-some years. And a lot of your Super Bowls were gifted to you. The Seattle game, not running with beast mode, no team makes that mistake but Seattle. The Atlanta game, Atlanta's used to blowing leads, so you got another one gift wrap. And I'm not, going to diminish your win, but you've also been associated with cheating for 20-something years, off and on. So if that's what it takes for you to get 6, being in the weakest division in football, 2 Super Bowls of your 6, you shouldn't have even really been in there. And let's not forget you lost to a backup quarterback. So, hey, good. That's your 6 wins. Okay, cool for you. And the Steelers, it's simple as this. When the team roots for the Ravens to beat us because they scared of us tying them, I have no respect for you. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of you Steelers fans was rooting against us when we played the Ravens because you didn't want us tying you. So that's like me rooting for my divisional rival, because I don't want you a team tying. I will never root for Seattle. I don't care who they play. I will never root for Dallas. I don't care who they play. I'd rather a team tie me than them to win. So, like I said, I don't have for those type of Steelers fans, I don't have no respect for them. So I believe red and gold. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know, man. I mean, that I think if we had our pass rush, our secondary with even being a little bit depleted here and there would be a little bit better. It might make, as you call it, number 27. It might make him less exposed, but yeah, man, he's going to be on an island now even more.
Yep. Yep. Welcome, the Boston haters in the comments. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Danny Navarro. How you doing? Nico, welcome. Jose Avila, welcome. Victor, welcome. Just want to acknowledge those that are stepping up. Just to keep in mind, every comment that is, type in your comments, share amongst each other, but I'm going to, just because you put a comment doesn't mean I'm always going to pop it in the screen. So don't get offended if your comment doesn't get popped up. But continue to comment, continue to do your thing, continue to talk amongst each other in the comments. If I see a comment worthy of popping up on the screen, I will do that. But continue to do your thing. Yeah, man. What's up, Javier Rios? Welcome to the show. Good to see you, man. Kathy, how you doing? Um, yeah, I don't care about other teams, man. I can care less about the Steelers. I only concern myself about my team and what my team is doing, and um, we got 4 more games to go. We're gonna see what the outcome is. Somebody brought up earlier today about should we be more concerned about the draft? And I'm like, listen, the season is not over. And honestly, I don't know what your opinion, honestly, your opinion deep down inside is, but I don't care about the off season into the off season. Um, we're still in the 2020 season. As bad as this season has turned out, as bad as 2020 with the COVID-19, with all the injuries has turned out, we're still going to end the season. I want to finish off the season on a good note, and then we can discuss off-season programs after the football, after the season. But if you guys bring up draft, we're not really going to entertain the draft too much because it's not here. We're still in the season. Let's talk about beating the Washington football team and moving forward. Who cares about the draft at this particular time? There'll come a time that we can address it. What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
I mean, I don't look forward to next season until the season's over. For
Right
me,
on.
I think a lot of fans that do that are the same fans that are dying for football when they have to go months without it. You know what I mean? It's so funny because they'll be like, "I can't wait for football season to start." Then when it starts, they're like, if it doesn't go their way, then they're like, "Damn, I can't wait for it to end. I need to draft." You know what I'm saying? So you got to, if you can enjoy the highlights, you got to be able to enjoy the low points as well. And unfortunately, the low points suck, but this is the root of a fan, bro. Like it shows the camaraderie that we have as Niner faithful. It makes us live up to our name, the Niner faithful. So when you're in a season where it's not good, like last season, bang bang Niner game was chanted last year. We should be shouting bang bang Niner game this year, despite the results, because we're Niner fans at the end of the day. We still rep this red and gold. Look, man, I'm gonna break it to y'all like this because in these times, you need Florida Mike to give you a friendly reminder because y'all listen too much to these critics and skeptics. You forget who you are. You forget who we are. You forget this SF, okay? San Francisco, you forget we inspired and influenced the entire league to run this West Coast offense. Those are facts. You forget we're the team, the only team that went into Dallas Stadium and stomped on that star 2 times and beat them in their own field. We're the team that set trends and don't follow. You know what I'm saying? So don't forget our legacy and our history and how we were built because the root of us is championship caliber. We just went to the Super Bowl last year. So you got teams that ain't even been to the damn playoffs, but like once a lifetime, Detroit Lions. Okay. So like I said, we're fine. We have a Super Bowl roster. Don't forget the identity of this team. We just went 13-3 last year. We're not 13-3 removed. We're just injured significantly. So all we got to do is get healthy, bro. That's it. And Niner family, like I said, know who you are, know our identity, and we're good. The question 6 is here. We got a Super Bowl window, guys. Next year, mark my words, we stay healthy, I guarantee we'll be competing in the playoff spot again for a Super Bowl. Guarantee you. We did it last year, 13-3. Why doubt it?
Yeah, absolutely. Jose Villa says, I am glad that Robert Sala is going to be a head coach. So like that we can have a whole different defense, a scheme. I never had confidence in him. Never has any halftime adjustments. That's been what everybody's been talking about Robert Sala, his adjustment, not making the proper adjustments, not allowing the offense dictate to what adjustment he needs to make according to what the offense is giving him. Those have been the issues with him. I've been hearing a lot that if Robert Sala's gone, that we should go back to a 3-4 defense. I wanted to get your thoughts on that, Mike.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't get caught up in formations until I understand what type of coach, first and foremost, we have if Salah does depart and accept a head coaching job elsewhere, and what type of players we have. Right now, we don't know what we're gonna have next year. We don't know what we're drafting. We don't know what free agents we're going to acquire. We don't know what people we're going to retain and let go. It's so much that's unknown. So to say what type of defense we should run is way too premature. I would just say let's finish the season out. And once everything's finished and finalized, as we approach free agency and then the draft, we can start talking that. But right now, it's kind of challenging, man, is to address those things, bro, because you know what I mean? It's still the season is here, man. You know? So but I'm not going look, let me tell y'all something. I'm not a Niner fan that worry about what other people say. You know what I mean? If it ain't my Niner family, I don't care about nobody else. Everybody's irrelevant. Like all these teams that look good now, they're gonna be the same teams that's next year. They're gonna have a one little window, and then that's it. I mean, it's bound to happen. The way the salary cap is structured, the way the game is set up now, is just very challenging for one team to dominate so long. The only reason New England did it for so long is because they did not. As you notice, New England's formula is pretty simple to what equivalent to what Bill Walsh did without a salary cap. You know what I mean? Like Bill Walsh instituted the team, and then he kept those guys. He didn't have to worry about salary cap. And then hey, he'll let somebody go, get somebody else, and he would keep that formula going. So with a salary cap, New England's doing similar, but they're doing a business management now a little bit more different than we did because we didn't have salary cap. So New England says we have Randy Moss, we let him go, but we'll get 2 or 3 good tight ends to replace him. And the production that all 3 of those tight ends have is equivalent to one great receiver anyway. So when you see teams that the only reason New England has won this many in this era is because they approach the draft differently than 95% of the league. And the reality is they're not trying to get big brand name guys. They're not trying to, you know, they're not trying to go out here and make these big power moves and power decisions having a short 2 or 3 year window. They're playing for a longevity. And that's why they were able to compete in like 9 Super Bowls in their franchise under Tom Brady, because that's what they did. You know, they let big brand names go. They let some pass rushers go. They let good elite receivers go, and then they replace them with tight ends and other positions of need. And that's what San Francisco needs to do. We just need to continue building, and we're here. We just got hurt this year. So, like I said, put it in perspective. This year was just an unfortunate year that we had a mountain of injuries that nobody could have predicted. You know, people are saying get rid of our training staff, but this same training staff last year was here. Nobody was complaining about them then, but we had 13-3. So it's just a rash of injuries, man. So let's see what happens, you know, these next 4 games. Let's see what happens when next season comes, if we can stay healthy. And like I said, I'm very confident that we'll be in a Super Bowl window for a long time, the way we're drafting and the way we're building.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. Yeah, man, it's difficult when you lose your starting defensive end and Nick Bosa, the young promising kid out of Ohio State. Had a great first year, won Rookie of the Year, looked promising for this year to have another great year, and unfortunately, he got hurt. And the scenario and the situation with Dee Ford hasn't just been able to play. Dee Ford has been he's a disruptive monster when on the field. He's very effective when on the field. The problem with Dee Ford, he's not on the field enough time for him to be disruptive, and that's been an area that has hurt us as well. So it's hard, man. It's hard to try to juggle all this season with injured players, with the money, having people come in and out of injury. It's just been a crazy 2020, and then you add COVID-19 on top of it. Players testing positive, false positives. Talk about a distraction. Talk about just a weird year, man. But we're going to get healthy. Hopefully, Dee Ford will be good to go next year with a whole year off. And I say whole year because he only played 1 game this year. and Nick Bosa. If those guys can come back strong, and I just want to make a real quick point for a lot of you guys that have been talking negative. I understand Eric Armstead has not been playing very well, according to you guys. I, on the other hand, think that Eric Armstead has been playing phenomenal, great. He's just not popping up in the stat sheets as you guys want to see with the sacks. But he's been taking a lot of double teams. He's been hitting the A gap a lot, and it's not his fault that we lost D Ford. It's not his fault that we lost Nick Bosa. You guys saw what we have in Eric Armstead when those two cats are on the field next to him. He's taking on all the pressure, man. So I like what Eric Armstead is doing. He's not popping up on the sack stat, but who cares? It's not only sacks that count. It's what he does in between the line. And he's playing well. Can he play better? Yes, but I'm still impressed with Eric Armstead and what he's doing.
Yeah, and I mean that's attributed to anybody on our team, man. You know, like I said, with our O line, for me, is the one that I want to just see play the best because I feel like our defense is what our defense is. We don't have a pass rush. We're not gonna be able to make up for that. But our O line, on the other hand, Nick Mullins got to get max protection as much as possible. He needs a lot of time under pressure. It's almost a wrap. So he just needs that time, man. We can't be getting whipped up by the front four of these teams that we played. You know, the Eagles and the Bills front four to me were they played above expectations against our O line, and you know Mullins was getting pressured a lot, and it sucks, man. You know he's not a guy that's gonna respond to pressure well. To the least I can say it, as nice as I can say it. So, but he's an undrafted free agent, man. So, I mean, he's an undrafted pick. So, at the end of the day, I mean, what do you expect?
Yep. Let me get some of these comments. Mike says, I'm not disappointed in the year we've had good. We've had a lot of injuries. I've been coaching has been on. I think he's talking about our coaching on point. But honestly, the defense has looked horrible when we lose ever any adjustments. Well, I mean, the game against the Rams, we had a great defense. I'll take. So it's just each team it varies. I mean, when you have injured players, man, and things. Listen, when we win, everything is good. When we lose, everything is bad. We beat the Rams. Our defense played spectacular, and they did. We lose against the Bills, and the Bills runs all over us. Our defense played bad. I agree. Robert Saleh has an issue in adjusting his play calling. He needs to learn how to adjust more. But our defenses can only do so much, man. They were gassed out there as well. They were tired out there, man. And the Buffalo Bills just took advantage. Like I said, that guy Beasley or whatever his name was, that guy was getting first downs like nobody's business, man. That guy was everywhere catching the ball, and we couldn't stop him. We couldn't tackle him. And when it wasn't him, it was Josh Allen running with his legs. And so it was tough. It was a tough game to watch, but we move on. We learn from our mistakes and we go forward. Now we focus on a really good pass rush team, the Washington football team, and I'm wondering what Kyle Shanahan is going to do with the offensive line to protect Nick Mullins, because I got a feeling this game is going to be a long game and it can get ugly quick if that pass rush gets to Nick Mullins, because as we know, Nick Mullins will make his share of mistakes.
Yeah. The Washington football team, as they call themselves now, I just feel like any team that has a front four that can be a threat or pose a threat to our O line, especially with Mullins back there, we just have to. We're gonna have to figure out a way to get our passing game more consistent because what I'm seeing is teams knowing the run's coming, and we're depending on opening up those holes and gaps, out physical teams, but they're sending safeties up there to shoot up there to cheat on that run. So we're gonna have to find a way to make them pay in the passing attack to where they can at least respect the pass to where they're not, coming up so much because they already label us a run first team, no matter what. So we got to go out there and hit them where they're not expecting yet, and we got to have that balanced offense like last season enough to be consistent. Granted, it's Mullins, I get it, I know all that, but I'm saying Mullins still has to make passes and complete passes. It shouldn't have to come to third and long and a passing down for him to have to throw the ball. We should be able to come out there and get some plays going early. So, but yeah, hey, it is what it is at this point, man. We're dealing with that. We have Mullins as our backup, and so we just have to hope he can pull us out the next 2 games.
Right on. We have a couple of I love it. We have a couple of viewers that are saying Mullins was bad, Mullins this, and then we have a couple of viewers that are defending Mullins. So I love the diverse of our viewers and bringing their opinions, man. I appreciate you guys watching the show. Every viewer has their own opinion. Whether we agree or disagree on your opinions, they're still your opinions, and we appreciate you guys bringing those thoughts into the group, man. Just don't get ludicrous with us, and you guys should be fine. If you guys,
hey,
Beto,
like I got something. I got something I want to say real quick.
Go ahead.
So this is for the fans because the fans are saying if we have half of the fans saying Nick Mullins, it's not Nick Mullins, it's the line, and then the other half is saying no, it's Nick Mullins, it's not the lines. It's more Nick Mullins. My question is, Jimmy Garoppolo plays with the same line, and his record is way better than Nick Mullins statistically, right? The facts are Nick Mullins is going to play with that same old line, but Jimmy Garoppolo has a way higher winning percentage. When Nick Mullins played like this, when Garoppolo went out a couple seasons ago, Nick Mullins didn't even win on the road. He had the same offensive line as Garoppolo, and he didn't win one time on the road. All his wins came at home. He was winless on the road. So I'm not – I understand that it's a team game. I'm not sitting here pointing blame more on the line and giving a ratio of who has a higher percentage of the blame. But I will say this. If Garoppolo's playing with the same old line and having a much higher winning percentage, at some point we have to assess what we have at backup quarterback and have to be honest with ourselves. The line is the old line, but Nick Mullins is Nick Mullins, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And I love to hear the reaction from the fans. I'm not prioritizing Mullins over the line or vice versa. Sure, the line can step up and block better and play better. But at the end of the day, Nick Mullins has to be able to complete passes. We saw when he had protection, he still threw behind people. Kendrick Bourne in his last game had a touchdown had he threw it out a little bit more for him to complete. The game before that, threw it behind Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed was pissed off. So there's things that Nick Mullins can do a lot better when it comes to executing. I'll leave it at that. But I love to hear the fans' perspective more in depth, from that perspective. It'd be interesting for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just reading these comments. But yeah, man. You're right. Jimmy Garoppolo plays with that same offensive line and has a better outcome than Mullins. The games speak for themselves. With Jimmy G, we have more wins than without him.
Absolutely.
Am I completely sold out on Jimmy G? No, but is he the better quarterback on the roster? By far, yes. By far, yes. And I'd rather rock with Jimmy than. Listen, guys. We see what. I know Mullins is a backup, and I know he's doing his backup work, but he's a terrible backup. There's one thing to be a backup, and there's another thing to be trash. And I'm not trying to be really harsh on him, but I was a supporter of Nick Mullins in the beginning. You can ask my my co-host, especially the Boston Hater. He'll tell you. He used to say that I used to wear pom-poms for Nick Mullins, but it's hard for me to continue to support him when he continued to make trashy moves. And The reality is he's trash. He's not even a good backup. He is what he is, and yes, he's wearing the red and gold, and yes, we're supposed to support our faithful red and gold players, and I am supporting Nick. I want him to do good, but I'm also being realistic. Okay, he sucks. I want him to do well, but he sucks. I mean, I'm a big boy. I can believe that I'm 180 pounds, but it doesn't matter how much I say it. It doesn't mean that it makes it so. So the reality is, man, as much as we like Nick Mullins and as much as we are the faithful and we support our red and gold, which we do, the facts are that Nick Mullins is not gonna win us games. We need Jimmy back, and hopefully Jimmy will come back soon so that we can continue to compete, because it's not gonna happen with Nick Mullins. And for those that might just whisper, well, what about C.J. Jones? C.J. Beathard. Let me tell you, Mullins is trash. C.J. Beathard is worse than trash. And I'm talking about their play. I'm not talking as human beings, of course. Never call the human being trash. I'm talking about their style of play on the football field that is trash, not the human being themselves. So I'm gonna make sure that's corrected. But yeah, man, it's always going to be difficult. I seen those overthrown plays by Nick Mullins. Man, he I don't know about you, Mike, but he always looks like he has a deer in the headlights. You see that look on his face every time he makes a mistake. He's kind of looking, and he looks over at Shanahan. He looks like he's scared of Shanahan. He's really scared of him. Like he's really tense. Like he doesn't want to make a mistake because he's going to get spanked by his dad during when he goes back to the sideline, and he just doesn't relax. He doesn't play comfortable. He's really tense, man, and you just can't have a quarterback like that.
Yeah, I mean, my assessment of Nick Mullins and what I spoke on earlier is just based on facts. Okay, I did try to glance over here at the comments, and I seen people are still having the O-line debate and the Nick Mullins debate, who's more at fault or whatnot. But at the end of the day, I feel like everybody has to do better. Those are facts. Whether you value the O-line or Mullins higher or whatever, everybody has to do better. But at the end of the day, if we had a quarterback that was capable of making plays, extending plays, and doing those things, completing passes with the same O-line that we had, getting some type of production, maybe people might feel differently. You know what I mean? But we don't have that. So, like I said, I'm just looking at the facts of Garoppolo has the same line. It has a higher winning percentage. And yes, he's the starting quarterback. Mullins is a backup. It's hard to compare the two when Mullins is not better than Garoppolo, if you will. But again, he's expected to come in there and be his backup. He's expected to have some drop in production from Garoppolo standards. But how significant is the drop going to be? And that's the reality of it. So, I see Nico commented about Garoppolo being 0-4. What is the San Francisco 49ers record, win-loss record with Garoppolo versus Nick Mullins?
Yeah.
As starters. You know what I mean? Jimmy Garoppolo was 13-3 last year. And when you're talking about 0-4, what 4 games are you talking about? And what season? You're talking about, because he came to us just recently. He finished his season when he came to us the last 5 games strong. The next season he got hurt, and he was 3-1 when he got hurt. Last year he was 13-3. So what 4 games at home are you referring to? How many games did he play this year? Did he even play a full 4 games this year at home? 0-4? Is that what he's talking about this year?
I got no clue, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah, can you elaborate the 0-4 home comment? Because in Jimmy G's career, I don't remember him losing 4 home games as a starter. And since he's been here, unless you're talking about this year, we need to see how many games did he actually start this year. So I'll wait on that. But yeah, as far as Garoppolo's been playing, he's been playing hurt. He's been playing injured. So if you're talking about games that he lost as a starter, this Garoppolo this year is actually playing on a bum ankle that, if you're going to hold him to that, I mean, okay. But, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe That's what he's referencing. But I don't know. I would have to let him speak on what he's saying.
Yeah, Jose says Nike Mullins. Sorry, Nick Mullins. He says, "Are you honestly being for real? You cannot blame this loss on Nick Mullins. Our defense did not get one defensive stop besides the opening drive and 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That's not good recipe to win a football game." What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
I don't know who that comment's referred to because on this panel, nobody's solely said Nick Mullins is responsible for this loss.
Well, I
That didn't
did,
come out of my mouth. Okay, so if he's referring that to you, then I mean that's
and I'll answer
you
it.
know, yeah. I mean, me personally, I always believe it's a team effort. Because Nick Mullins is not playing 11 guys by
He's still
himself.
trash.
Well, I mean, but at the end of the day, one person doesn't lose a football game when there's
True.
11 people total on the field. So if you're asking me that question, I personally believe it was a team effort. I feel like we got beat by all three phases to that Buffalo, and that's why we lost. So in those phases on offense, defense, special teams, we got outplayed and out executed. So yeah, the defense might have not got a lot of stops, but the offense sure as hell ain't score. You know what I mean? We can't prioritize defense over offense or offense over defense. Everybody's equally to blame. The offense did not have a threat to score. They couldn't punch it in on the 1 yard line the first time they got there. It took a Buffalo fumble, self-inflicted fumble at the 1 yard line for us to get it back. And after that, we didn't really do anything. We were never really in contention to strike a threat to the Bills. You know what I mean? We didn't have any consistency on offense. So, like I said, that to me, I say all phases are equally responsible for losing the game. It's a team effort. But Beto, feel free to comment if you're saying that you feel Mullins is responsible for losing that game. You can defend that.
Yeah, I'll elaborate on that. Mullins, I mean, like that one play to Wilson in the end zone that he overthrew Wilson's shoulder, didn't put the ball in the right place, and he got that interception. And just taking a couple of sacks when he shouldn't have, not rolling out to the left, and just to me personally, just playing scared, man. He doesn't. I understand he's a backup. I understand he's afraid of the coach, but there has to come to a point where he needs to take the matters in his own hand and make decisions. He doesn't read the defense quickly enough. He doesn't react to what the defense is putting out there, and he's always holding on to the ball. And when he lets it go to the wrong place. So personally, you're right. Overall, honestly, one player can't lose the whole game because it's a team sport, 11 on 11. But was he the majority of the reason why we lost? I believe so, very much. Our defense did not play to par. Our secondary did not play to par. But Nick Mullins, as a quarterback, did not do anything to help this team win. And by throwing that interception and by taking sacks in crucial times are not helping the team win. So, yes, I blame Nick Mullins, and I do believe he's the reason why we lost the game. He is trash, and I agree with Boston Hayden. That's not very often. I want to make sure that's clear. But I hope he is in a different uniform next year, and we move on from Mullins. Man, I'm just tired of watching Mullins play. Like I said, I was a great supporter of him in the beginning of the season. I'm not a hard person. I don't get crazy on the players right away. I'm very compassionate. I'm really like, you know what, give him a chance. But Nick Mullins, he's just not a good quarterback. And don't give me that he's young. He needs more time to play. When you're not good, you're not good, man. And that interception that he threw was pitiable for me. And I believe that was a crucial time that we started falling behind and we just couldn't recover from that interception. So to answer Jose, yes, I agree. I stand what I said. Mullins did lose that game for us, and if you want to have a private conversation with me, we can.
I want to say something too to the viewer that said Garoppolo lost 4 games, and I guess they're talking about this year. He didn't have 4 home games this year that he lost. So please make sure you just check out the actual schedule. I actually just put it up real quick on my phone because I'm like, Garoppolo did not lose 4 home games this year. He hadn't even played in 4 home games this year. And the opening games that we lost to the Cardinals at home, right? And then we lost to the Eagles. We lost to the Fins. Now the Eagles game, was he starting that game?
Mullins?
No, Garoppolo.
No, Mullins did.
Yeah. So
that was his worst game.
I don't. Yeah. So just tell me what 4 home games did Garoppolo lose? I'm waiting on that in his career here in the season. Because somebody said that earlier. They said Garoppolo lost 4 games at home. When I make the comment that Mullins has a season where he didn't win on the road at all. So I'm looking at the research and I'm like, I don't see that. And if I'm mistaken, I'll gladly, humbly admit, but I'm not recalling Garoppolo losing 4 home games in a San Francisco 49er uniform in his career in the season, in like each season. So what 4 home games are they referring to? Please elaborate.
Yeah, we'll wait for his response. And back to the quarterback situation. The defense does have issues. I'm not neglecting that. The defense have issues. There's a lot of injuries on our defense. Bad calling by Robert Saleh, not making the proper adjustments. I agree. But everything starts and ends with the quarterback. That's where you're the quarterback. And reference to Jose says 20. Let me bring it up real quick. And I know you're referring to the defense, and I know you're hitting the defense hard, and that's okay. Says 24 points is good enough to win, not against the Buffalo Bills. Not against a team like the Buffalo Bills. 24 points is not good enough to win a game. Our defense was just gas, man. Our secondary just didn't play. I mean, they had an off game. Personally, they had a bad game, but overall, we're the top 5 defense all season with all the injured players. Our defense is pretty good. They just had a bad game yesterday. But Mullins is very inconsistent every game. Tell me a good game that Mullins had this year. But I can tell you quite a few games that the defense had good games. I'm just more a believer in the defense than I am in Mullins. Let's see here.
I'd be interested to hear the response to your comment on that. What you just said, that was a very good point. You defended Beto.
Yeah. So we're still waiting for Nick to respond because I've been trying to rack my head too with the 4 home games with Garoppolo, and I just don't.
Yeah, we didn't have 4 home games that Garoppolo didn't even play in 4 home games this year. That's what I'm saying. He can't lost 4 home games when he even playing 4 home games this year. He played against Arizona at home, and then he played against the Rams. So the games that we lost at home, the Eagles, you said he didn't play that game, right?
No.
And the Dolphins game he played, but he got out at like halftime. So maybe if they're counting that, but that's still technically 2.5 games in totality. So if you want to count that as a starter, okay, that's 3 games. That's 3 home games that he lost. So where's the 4th one? Because he's been hurt after that. He hadn't played. So where's the 4th one? You see what I'm saying?
What's up, Thomas King? How you doing, bro? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Niner Bang Bang Niner Gang. And when there's a loss, there's always blame to go around. There's a lot of mixed emotions in the loss, especially in a season like this, man. But, the defense does need to get better. The defense played terrible, but, hopefully we'll correct it. Robert Saleh will correct it. And for those that don't like Robert Saleh, I don't think Robert Saleh will be back. Not because he's a bad defensive coordinator. I just think he'll get an opportunity and he deserves it too, to be a head coach. And I wish him the best. I've been hearing a lot of rumors of Detroit. He's from Detroit or nearby Detroit, so that'll be a good situation for. Plus, we get a 3rd round pick for him. Not to change the subject, but we get a 3rd round pick for Robert Saleh because it's a minority coach going and getting a head coach. So that's something that the NFL implemented this year. Teams that hire a minority coach in a position or placed into a head coach, we get a 3rd round pick. So why not get a third round pick if he goes and plays or coaches in another team?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm still waiting for, and listen, everything's debatable. You guys have your comments, and you guys, and listen, just because we don't agree with you, it doesn't mean that we don't appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys as the viewers constantly. Continue to support the podcast, continue to be part of the podcast. But we're all family, and family never always agrees. There are going to be comments that me and Mike will agree with and probably disagree with, and that's okay. It's not a matter whether we agree or disagree with you guys. It's just a matter of having collectively a friendly, not argument, but discussion on our thought process. So, but one thing I do ask, if you're going to make a statement, try to be correct in the statement you make before making the statement so that you can back it up. That's all I'm saying. When you make a statement, and I blew it. I've blown it so many times, so I'm not perfect. I'll be the first one to be in line that I make a statement, I can't back it up for crap. But let's be honest, when you make a statement, try to make a statement. And if you're going to make it, that's fine. And I appreciate your boldness in making a statement in the comments. But make sure it's correct. So when Mike or myself or anybody defends that statement, you're able to back it up. And I'm referring to like the 4 games with Garoppolo. I'm not disrespecting the person that brought it up, but I'm just saying when you make a statement, make sure it's correct, just so that you can support it and back it up. That's all.
And I honestly, man, too, like I love when people have difference of opinions that
Me too.
are based on the context of what we're discussing. So to the viewer that said that, man, big shout out to you. That was a great conversation that we made, and I did see it in the text. I'm trying to look at it. It's going so fast, focusing on the convo. But he did come out and say he was incorrect, and that's what the show's all about. Nobody's perfect on the show, including myself. But we do the show because we love our Niners, and we love to chop it up. So I appreciate all the fans being mature enough to respect differences of opinion. And that's the root of this show. This is what separates our show from a lot of other shows. Some people get so emotional and so entangled into their emotions of the love of their team, they forget to be respectful, and that we're still all Niner fans at the end of the day. So big shout out to everybody on this show. Please keep that content going, because I'm gonna tell you something. It was Nico. Yeah, big shout out to Nico.
And 3-4, right there, bro. A lot of respect for you, Nico.
Yeah. Look, man, 3 or 4 games ain't that big of a difference. But I was sitting here like, damn, 4? I'm trying to think. I don't think so, right? But 3, 4, not a big deal. So big shout out to my man Nico. Appreciate you commenting and everybody else, man. So let's just keep that Niner faithful spirit going. We all family, like Beto said. And it's good that we disagree, because I'm gonna be honest, man, I wouldn't want to be on no show if everybody was saying the same thing in the comments. And like when I do glance at it occasionally, if all of y'all was like, nah, man, it's Nick Mullins' fault, and not one person was like, nah, it's the defense fault, man, I wouldn't want to see that. I want to see, my thing is, if you, like Beto said, I agree. If you make a comment, try to like me, when I speak, I base my comments based on facts and try not to let emotion supersede it. You know what I mean? And that's what I do. So, I just want to have fun with the show.
I just want to give a big shout out to Jose Avila for bringing up the comments, man. I appreciate you, brother. Like I said, we welcome your comments, man. A show would be boring if we all agree with each other. If there's no controversy on the comments, it'll be a boring show, man. But at the end of the day, we're all family. We all root for the same red and gold team. And this show is just about supporting one another, man. So as long as you don't give the Boston hater a euphemism by bringing up some crazy ass comment, and it doesn't take much for Boston hater, man. It's just as long as you keep it real, we're good. We're good to go. But we welcome your comments, man. We welcome you guys being yourselves. Be who you are, man, and we'll continue to keep the narrative in our shows, man. But we wouldn't want you guys to change who you are, because that's who you are, man. And if we can educate you the best we can on what we think is right or wrong, and we can give you some idea or help you see it through a different lens, why not? You might be able to change our minds and allow us to change our perspective based on your comments or your point of views. But that's what we all do together, man. So I wouldn't want none of you guys to change. We have came to an hour. We are at an hour, bro. So we're gonna come to a conclusion. I don't know about you, Mike, but this hour went by heck of fast. I didn't realize it's already an hour, bro. But
Yeah,
I
man.
wanted to give a shout out to Jose
Uh,
Avila and to everybody that's in the chat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think next show is gonna be fun. You know, what we normally do on the formula of this show is we recap the game that we just played the day after. So and then before the next game, we talk about it. So basically today we are focusing on the post game wrap up of the Bills game. Friday show we're gonna talk about the Washington Redskins. I mean, the Washington soccer team. I mean, the Washington football team. You know, whatever their name is. We're going to talk about them because they're the only team in the NFL that has a district and not a city in the USA like that. I mean, they are a district, so that tells me all I need to know. But the White House can't save them when they play us Sunday. So I'm confident in my team, and let's go beat the football team. Like everybody else is not a football team. Dumb name. Y'all can do better, Washington. Maybe you can't do better. I don't know, but that's your bad. Washington football team. It's a dumb name. I'm sorry, that's a dumb name. Everybody's a football team.
Yeah, can you imagine sitting there in the board and trying to come up with an idea, and everybody's popping ideas, and the best they can come up with is the Washington football team. So, but anyway, with that said, everybody that has watched the show, part of the show, you guys are amazing. Eric, Javier, Amanda, Christian, Tom, Nico, Nathaniel for being also in the comments. Eric, Davis, the two guys in the comment. Tanisha. If I missed out your name, I apologize. Renee Joy, Miranda, how you doing? We appreciate you guys for being part of the show. Remember, we are slowly but surely transitioning out of Facebook as of the 1st of January 2021, starting a new year. We will be going live only on YouTube. We will be going live only on YouTube as of the 1st of January 2021. So make sure that you make that transition with us over to YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel, Niner Sickness Podcast, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified each and every time we go live and you do not miss an episode with us. We go live every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and every Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, unless we have a Monday night game as we did yesterday. Then we'll carry the conversation the day after, which we are doing today. So we appreciate everyone for participating. Remember, go to YouTube, subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. We appreciate you guys. Have a great night and go Niners. We'll see you there now. Mike, always a pleasure in having you with me, bro. Much love and respect. Until next time, we're out.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.